What's up, Cardfighters? Chris here from Vanguard Central. We got the Ahsha update from G-BT08. I was trying to update the build we had before with just Ahsha, and then I tried out the Japanese build. It was amazing, so I decided to stick with the Japanese style build, show you my little take on it. So there's a couple cards that are a bit different. I hope you enjoy, so stay tuned for the rest of the deck profile.
Stand up! Vanguard!
For our starter, we are running 2 Elmies. The 2 is really important because her effect to bounce the rear guards to hand. That's going to enable you to go off with extra combos and activate Bloom like a second turn in a row. Like if you're not using her, then you're going to call out that full field, and then you're not going to really be able to keep pressure up on the second turn after that one big turn. So being able to bounce cards back to your hand is really important for this deck. And so I was a little iffy on her at first, but the 2 was really good, and so we gotta have the 2 there. So before we go on to the rest of the deck, we're gonna look at the strides. The strides, we have for Verano. Verano is really good for just calling that full field, having the field before you use your Ahsha's grade 3 ability, so that you can get extra copies out. And there's big super shenanigans when you use her for the second time, and you can copy 3 units, and they all come in this play at the same time. So if you know like Katrina's Bloom, or like the effects with Bloom, if you call 2 of them, they're gonna see each other simultaneously. So that's really huge. Getting those 3 calls can just like up your power. Like it gets pretty crazy. We have 4 dream spinning Ahshas, and that's really good. They're not, I find that I'm not really using them as much, but it's really good to kind of just slow roll it a bit and get your advantage going slowly, rather than kind of doing these wombo combo plays that the deck is really good at. And the deck is so good at the wombo combo plays, I hardly ever go into this one, but she does have her uses, so she's still in there. We have 1 Glorious Bloom Ahsha to take advantage of these guys. If you have the right field setup, you need to really get going, you have her. So like that. We have 1 multivitamin, because if you get low, you might want to do that low amount of cards in deck, you might want to do that infinite loop and get some insanely high power columns. We have Primavera, because you can do the like Primavera shenanigans, just like with Verano. I feel like I didn't say that right anyway. So just like Verano, you can call 4 units, and then all those Bloom abilities are going to activate at the same time. You might remember their Primavera combo with Katrina to hit like 100k really easily. So you can do something similar in this deck with her, so she's been really good. But since she's 3 counterblast, I didn't want to run 2. And we need that last space for the 1 Sea Breeze, just in case your opponent tries to grade lock, you want to be able to do stuff to hurt them. And the G Guardians, there's 1 Dismal, just to protect your rears. There's 1 Verna to get some extra shield. It blocks some of those more high-powered attacks if it's reasonable. And then 2 of the other G Guardian. There are some pretty cool like things that you can do with the dragon, because there's like several Bloom effects that you can put power to Vanguard, or with the trial deck stand, you can give +5. You can call that and give +5 to 8 to Vanguard. So you can do some neat tricks to buff up your power on your opponent's turn, which can be really useful. So that's why I'm running the 2 of them. Maybe go up to 3. Her +5 hasn't been super useful. This guy is getting the most use in the deck. Alright, so we'll go into the deck, back to the main deck. So starting with the triggers, we have 4 Elizabeth. It's so amazing, just keeping all the cards you want in your deck, and late game being able to loop if you need to. Super good card, and it replaces itself, so there's really no harm in ever using its ability. You just add more stands back to the deck. And then we're running 4 more stands. We're running the trial deck stand, like I mentioned, with the G Guard. You're going to be able to buff up your Vanguard's power by an extra 5k during your opponent's turn. That can be really useful. Or you can just give your on-hit pressure attackers more power. So it's a pretty versatile card in this deck, and definitely like it at 4. And then lastly, we just have 4 criticals. I kind of wanted to run more stands here actually and run a full 12 stand build, but the criticals have been really good when I can't draw the combo, because I'll usually have a critical. So what I'll do instead of comboing off is I'll use the critical and just copy a bunch out of the deck and then just use those to add to hand, and then that way I can draw into the combo and do it the next turn. So the criticals have been pretty useful, and so they're definitely staying in just for the draw power you get. And then lastly, 4 heals, because G-Guardians and all that stuff you already know. So going to the 3s, we have 4 Ahshas. That's pretty obvious. It's an Ahsha based deck. Gotta have the Ahshas. Obviously her GB2 is not super useful, but the real key is the on-stride skill. And then we're playing 4 Marjuka. Again, this is the Japanese build. So we're running the 4 Marjuka, and the grade 2s will have 4 Rani. This card is so good. So its Vanguard skill isn't that great whenever your unit gets targeted. You can Soul Blast when I draw a card. That's pretty decent if you get stuck on her. But the real key is the Bloom effect. Whenever another copy with her name is placed on rearguard, you can choose any of your units and give it plus 3k. And if that unit is a Rani, then you get to give it on hit, draw 1, soul charge 1. So that's really where the key is, because you can stack that draw effect a bunch of times in one turn, and then you'll be attacking your opponent for an insane amount of number, like an insanely high number, like a 50k or something like that, and then be like, oh, by the way, it has an on hit, I draw 5 and soul charge 5. And then your opponent's like, well, I don't have perfect guards, so I guess I gotta let you draw 5. And then you can hit stand triggers. It just gets insane. So this is the MVP card in the deck. So grade 2s, like I already mentioned, we're running 4 Rani because she counts as Marjuka. So really what happens is you only need to draw one of these 2 to really get going, because you could copy her and grab this one, or you could copy her and grab this one. And so you can really, it just makes all your copies a little bit more versatile. And since she's a Marjuka, whenever you call a Rani, you'll get the Marjuka's effect. Alright, and then she also has an effect, Bloom. When your Rani is placed on the rear guard, you can choose up to 5 units that are either Rani or Marjuka and give them a skill that they get plus 1,000 for every Bloom unit you have. So if you end up with a full Bloom field, then they could be getting plus 5, and then you're going to get multiple stacks of that. So the power goes up a ton, and again, just the ability to have her name makes everything so much more consistent in the deck. Speaking of consistency, we're running the 4 Thuria, which comes into play as a copy of any name. So you could get more draw power, or you could use it on Rani to get more just like power in general. So this card has been just crazy good. Obviously a staple in Ahsha decks, so gotta have that. And then this is like super, the last grade 2 is a tech spot. The Japanese builds are running Green Shot Elf, which I think is really good because it gives you an alternate. Like if you didn't draw this, there's just one more chance that you can have a combo unit to keep going. But for me, there's so much Link Joker here in Hawaii. So I just went with the 4 poker so that you can kind of play a bit slower, wait till you draw 2 pokers, and then just go on a super combo and kill them with that. But this is like, I haven't tested this enough to know if it's like really good or if it's worth it. So definitely be cautious if you decide to copy me and run the 4 pokers. It's more just because like so many people play Link Joker around here. I want to have an out to that. But if you don't have a lot of Link Joker players, definitely play the Green Shot Elves. It's just going to help your deck a bit with more consistency, because a lot of times when I don't have a Rani or a Marjuka, I usually have the critical trigger, but I usually also have a poker, so I could have just done poker plays. But yep, that's about it with the grade 2s. We got a staple Thuria, we got the Iranis, and we got the Pokers. So the grade 1s. We have the Bloom PG. If you need to stall it out, this is going to be really good. You can search them from the deck pretty easily. So that's one good way to stall until you get your combo. We have 4 Stride Fodders because we have to be on Ahsha in this deck. If we don't, it really, really hurts because you don't get the Ahsha name for the starter, which is a huge one. That's really it, but the starter is so good in this deck, you really want to have her. And then you just get more calls by using Verano to add a unit to field before you use the Stride skill. So being on Ahsha really, really improves the deck, and you want to have that ability to get there. And then lastly, we're running Sweetberry. I've seen some builds run the really defensive one, but I really like Sweetberry because she just replaces herself with a copy of something else. So she just makes your combo that much more consistent. If you need an extra Bloom copy for your stand trigger, she can just turn into one. It's really good to have her have Maiden of Sweetberry, and I really like that. She's so versatile and helping out with your combos. So that's the 4 Maiden of Sweetberry. That's pretty much it with the deck. Thanks for watching, Cardfighters. There we got Ahsha with my favorite 2 strides for this deck. I hope you enjoyed the profile. Give us a thumbs up, helps out a lot. Leave out a comment if you have played the Japanese build, if you like it, if you prefer a more standard Ahsha build. Definitely leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. And subscribe for more content. Thanks again for watching, guys. Vanguard Central, out.